Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here with another little ditty. Uh, a movie called not The, but just Pledge from 2018. Because The Pledge is with Jack Nicholson. Uh, Directed by Daniel Robbins and gets a 5.4, but I'm giving it a 5. It's worth a watch. Now, I found this one under all slashers ever made, but this isn't. I mean, it is and it isn't. It's half a slasher movie, but it's done. First of all, I'm gonna spoil, so beware. But I'll wait and give you the sign. Okay. Well, you've got these three guys. You got Justin. He's the fat guy. You got Ethan. He's the he's he looks like a smart guy. He's this IT guy, and then you got David. He's the guy with the glasses, and he's the real geek, and he really wants to join a fraternity and have some ladies on his lap and suck some boobs and all that shit. Before I, by the way, before we get any further, please subscribe, like, comment, all the didgeridoo. Okay. Um, but thanks. Yeah. So the movie starts out by also a fat person. He's running in this wooded area, and he's running, and he seems to be bleeding, but he's out of breath, and it seems like he's being hunted, and eventually he gets. I'm not sure what happens with him. I'm not sure. Um, but he gets something in the face and he dies. Um, and then the movie starts with these three guys looking for fraternities, but eventually they get, you know, it's rush week and they get rejected by every fraternity there is. And there's this one girl that sees these guys, and she says, if you want to have, if you want to come to a party, here's the card of the party, and it's this circle with a V. Okay. Uh, Now they're heading to this party. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere. It's far from the campus, and they're arriving at this somewhere in the forest, a giant mansion. They open the door up, and you see all these beautiful girls and these three main guys, uh, the ones who, I mean, these are the ones who basically run the sorority. I'm sorry, the sorority guys. I said that Brett, Ricky, and Max. Okay. Now, Ricky is like he opens up and he's like the friendly guy. Yeah, yeah, come in, come in. Then you have all these beautiful girls. They're basically all dry. They're dry humping these guys. They're completely getting wasted, and they just pass out. And the day after, you get, because you also get introduced to Max. This is a small guy, but with a temperament of 10 assholes. And then you have Brett, and he's already something wrong with him because he offers them a very exclusive vodka, and the only one who doesn't want it is Ethan. And he's like, it's fucking, what is it? That's fucking rude of you. and then they're already calm down. So he's already he's the unhinged guy. Yeah. So what happens is eventually all the day after all the girls are gone, you've got these three and two other pledges, right? A guy named Ben and another guy that I did not know the name of. Couldn't find him in the I no, or I couldn't find him in the IMDb list or the cast list. Maybe because he didn't have a picture and his name was really not mentioned a lot. But eventually you have five pledges, okay, and three sorority members, which seems for a mansion that big not too many, you know? Like, usually you have about 10 or 15 cooped up in this sorority house, and here you got a mansion like Hugh Hefner's mansion, and you've got three of these guys. I mean, so we already established now the things start to happen. Okay, you want to be pledges? Okay, get the fuck out of there. And then this, the Max, the smaller one says, "Hey, get the fuck up, you pieces of shit, or I'm gonna fuck you up, get the fuck up." And then the other one, Brett, is like, "I'm gonna stab them, I'm gonna stab them." And Ricky's like, "Shh, shh, just follow them, guys, just follow them." So they're following them, and what they had, what was it? Their first task was okay. First task, Max says he's the president. You know, he's the sorority president, but they also need a sorority president, pledge president, right? And of course, the first one who wants it is David. He's actually the only one who really wants it. Him and that Ben guy, and later on the rest doesn't want to stay. Even that guy that I don't know his name of. I'll just call him Ponytail because he had a ponytail. And they say basically, okay, so David immediately, I'll be it, okay, and he takes this, um, what's it called? It's this marker, you know, to mark a cow. So brand marking somebody, and he's like, "Oh no, I incline my, I forfeit." Ah, okay. Then we have to do them all. What? But I would just only I'm forfeiting. That doesn't mean no. If it you wanted to do it, it was only you. Now everybody's gonna do it. So they all get, branded, and then we see Ricky. He had Justin thinks Ricky was kind of super nice against Justin, the fat guy, but then he looks at him. Listen. Where do you want it? And he says, "Okay, here, but can you do it fast?" "Okay, buddy." And he puts it on, and it's like 10 seconds, and he's smiling, and he's actually, it's like one of those psychos that has a smile on his face. It's like, um, what's the name from Psycho? No, Bateman? Yeah. So the guy, they're all just complete psychopaths. Now, at some point, they gotta eat gruel, but it's basically rats being blended and all shit like cigarette butts, and they're puking and they're puking, and they grab them by the necks while they're puking them, and they're fucking um, hitting them, and what are they? They were hitting them with whips, and at some point they're throwing them in this little dungeon full of rats, and they have to sleep there. And then they start to say, this isn't a frat. Ethan is the first to notice, and Justin acknowledges, and the ponytail guy too. And David says, come on, it's only for I mean, 48 hours, one day, we're in this fucking cool, gonna fuck girls like never before. And Ben says, yeah, you should, we should. These are the two only guys. But David, at some point, Justin says, David, man, if you just said, if I knew if you were gonna just fuck us over and said, I'm not gonna be the president, so everybody gets fucked up, I would have said, I'll be the president and just take me. That's what friends do for each other. So they're already starting to doubt David, and he's an asshole. That he's blindsided by the booze, by the glory, by the especially the boobs. So he's eventually they get Ricky comes over and he throws in a bottle, and you think it's water, and immediately somebody, because they're thirsty, they don't have food, they don't have nothing, their stomachs are empty because they puked everything out, and it's a bottle of fucking vodka. Okay, Jesus Christ, enjoy, he says. Now then there's a point that let's um, Ethan is saying that his wound is starting to infect. And he shows it to them, and okay, we'll do something about it. And they call in this girl, and it's a girl that when he arrived at the mansion, also they were flirting, kissing with each other, and she was called Rachel. She's in this sexy uh, nurse's outfit, but at some point in the movie, they have a sister fraternity with the same circle and the V, and she's like, it's weird. She's driven by like a limousine guy, so she's going as also like a super fancy mansion, and they are all saying, no, 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 just stop it, let them do their thing. And she says, where's Rachel? I know she's still here. And then you see Ricky approaching her from behind, but you don't know what they do with her. Now Rachel is doing this sort of striptease dance, and immediately David is back. Oh my God! Oh, I got blue balls. I got blue balls. Oh, I really wanna get me a bucket of ice. Get me a bucket of ice. I mean, Ben too. Oh, let me blah, 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 get me in these boobs, and then But Justin is like, he doesn't want to. Ethan, he doesn't really want to too, and but she's taking care of Ethan. She takes a cloth with disinfectant, and she's putting it on, and he says, he looks at her because she has a mouth mask on, and she says, Rachel, she puts her finger on his mouth, and she does a kind of striptease move, but then she says something in his ear, and she says, run. So, okay, spoilers. Okay, this movie is nothing we've seen before. We all seen this before. An example of this movie is there are a lot of examples. It's not that I'm thinking. It's hard. Lately, I think I'm getting old. Brain fart. Um, a movie that's like this, if people that get attracted by something and they get hunted by them. That that's a that's a niche that's already been played. I think. Yeah, I've seen movies like that. I can't out of the top of my head I can't say which one. So is this movie okay? Is this movie good? It's like I said, we've seen it before. It's in, it's sorority guys who basically are maniacs, and these poor saps. And David is an asshole. He's a coward. He's an asshole. He wants everything for himself. He thinks he wants the boobs. He wants the fame. He wants. I mean, and there are a few twists. That's true in this movie. A lot of twists actually, like three twists, and that's the difference I would say between this movie and these other movies where they are hunted. Wrong turn is something like that a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of that. I mean, a group of people hunting another group of people, and the other people are good people, the other people bad people. Usually like those redneck movies where you have these rednecks and they're like very um, and they a bunch of kids and they stop in a gas station and in a bar, and they're very polite, but then eventually they gonna hunt them. That kind of stuff. That's sort of the same shit. Um, is this a good movie? Like I said, I give it a five. It's worth your watch. Let's put it that way. The acting isn't bad. The acting's pretty good, but the weirdness of this movie is that the trio that you have in the beginning, Justin, Ethan, and David, right? That are looking for sororities and always get kicked out and being embarrassed stuff. They basically, it looked like a kind of Goonies situation between these three guys. You know what I mean? Or the acting of it, but with the kids. They were like funny. It was a little bit of a comedy. There was comedy in there. Yeah. Although the movie doesn't say it's comedy, the movie says it's horror, thriller, mystery. But it's definitely it feels like comedy with these three guys. It shifts over from comedy when they enter the fraternity house with the circle and the V, and then it shifts over to a horror movie or thriller at the least horror thriller. So, and is this movie gory? Yeah, 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 yeah. It has some gore moments. Is it scary? Not at all. Not at all. No, no. But I liked the fraternity guys, uh, the sorority guys. Max was the president, I think, or claims to be the president. He was the smallest guy of the group, but he was like the pit bull, the small pit bull. And he was the loudest mouth. So Ricky was like the gentle psycho, and then Brett was like the unhinged psycho. He just wanted to kill and see blood and whatever. And then there's this moment when they have to sit down and they have to do something with their. It's I can't. Everybody has to do this something different, but one guy can't do it, and he, the ponytail guy, he's put on, and here things start to get fucked up. They put him on table. What they do is they take a rat. If you ever seen Game of Thrones, you know this kind of torture technique, and it was a real torture technique. Putting a rat in a bucket on your um, bear's belly, and then mm, putting a fire or something on something warm on the top of the bucket, and the rat will try to climb out. So feed his way through you out. Yeah, painfully, slow, painfully, and so that's pretty fucked up. But then at this point, so that one the unhinged guy has a fire poker aimed at Ethan. Now Ethan grabs the fire poker, stabs the guy, the unhinged guy, Brett, in his leg, and Justin, he flies towards Max and knocks him, gives him a good knock. He gives him a good knock, but I think I think Justin has a lot of punching power because of his weight. Boom, in his entire weight behind that punch, because he flies away, Max, and he was small, of course. And so they run upstairs with the crowbar, and they also find, and they go to the bathroom. They lock themselves in. Meanwhile, when they're going upstairs, Ben, the other pledge, so they all take this box of ceremonial knives. Okay, now Ben is lying there too behind behind a table, and it's like he was hiding, but he steps. When they put the ceremonial knives there, he stands up. He takes a knife, and he takes the rat out. He takes the thing from him. You see that all these scraping and biting wounds on his belly, and he says, "Help me, man, help me!" And he takes the knife and he slices his throat. And then Max comes down and Ricky, and they say, "What the fuck did you do? It wasn't yours to do that, you piece of shit. I was supposed to do that. You," and they're almost fighting and this and that, and he's and then Ben says, "You know the reason why you guys never succeed is because you always want to play with your, what did he say? With your animals." Yeah, it was really fucked up what he said. Now, here's something that, okay, so they all, in the shower room, the dead body of that girl is laying there that was looking for Rachel. They they burst out of the shower. They also have a wrench. Now, of course, David wanted to have the crowbar, but then he runs the other way, not with his two friends, and then he gets stabbed by Ricky like multiple times in his belly, and once straight to his neck. Then eventually, what we get is they get to the basement, and it's like a giant basement bunker area, whatever. They find Rachel, and they say, "Don't you understand, you guys? You aren't the pledges. They are." And you see this TV screen. And You see four guys. You see Brett, Ricky, Max, and Ben. And Ben is already like this. So Ben, one of the pledge guys, he made his kill. And what happens is, when they're running away, they lose Rachel. I don't know where the hell she goes. And they end up in this little arena, and they are surrounded now. Ben, Ricky, Brett, Max, they all have those knives, but Ben has his body in a nice body bag, and you see that he has this pledge pin now. The, a black pin with the circle and the V, and then you see the other guy coming out of the vent, Ricky, who killed David, and he has that's cool. He's completely under blood, and he has David's head in his hand, and he throws it, and he also gets a pin. So he has also a pin. Now the only ones who doesn't have a pin now are Brett and Max. Eventually, there are rules. Okay, so what happens is, and suddenly out of nowhere, all these guys in white in black costumes come out, like these. They had a name with a V. I don't remember. A sort of a Illuminati, and they come out because they're all older, way older, and they come out, and they basically have to fight to the death. Okay, Brett and Max against Ethan and Justin. Now, Brett is wounded pretty much. Now, Ethan could have beaten him. He could have beaten him. He only had a little disinfected wound. The other guy had a hole in his leg. He couldn't even stand on it. He couldn't even stand on it properly. And he was standing there swinging, and Ethan was really giving it to him. And eventually he bum rushes fucking Ethan, and then he's kicking him with his good leg in his infected wound. But then, of course, Ethan takes his finger and pushes in his hole in his fucking leg. But then they fall together, and I think he stabs him. End of Ethan. And I was sad of Ethan, because Ethan was the guy who was informed by Rachel to get the fuck out of here, and Justin. And then Justin fight against Max. Now Brett now also has a pin. Now Max. Max is the biggest mouth of the entire group, but he's small and he's fast, so he's slicing him. He gets a few. Justin gets a few good knocks in him, but he's just fast. He kicks him in the legs, he jump kicks, he's slicing him, and eventually he slices him so deep that he has to fall. But then he says, yeah, and then eventually, before they want to give him the pin, Justin takes the knife out of Ethan, and he stands back up, and he says, you piece of shit, and they fall, and I think he grabs Max's blade on the blade itself, so he's bleeding in his hand, and then he shoves it in his chest, so deep as he possibly can with his blade, with the blade that he took from the body of Ethan. And then he's like a pussy, oh, help me. And then Justin does this really cool move. He takes his head, the fat guy, right? He gets his head, and he takes his hair, and he just slams the knife through his chin, out of his head. The Prowler way, but in different order. Instead of here. And then what happens then is they do something that I could not understand. I really couldn't understand what they did. I did not understand what they did. They took the pin from Ricky, and so he's now still a play. So I'm not sure they're gonna kill him. Brett and then Ben have a pin. They killed somebody, you know. But yeah, Ricky did that too, so I don't understand why they're taking the fucking pledge. Or did he had the pledge pin in his hand and he had it? I'm not sure. It's weird because he also killed somebody in combat. The only one who didn't kill somebody in combat was that Ben guy. So they give a pin, they throw it in front of Justin. Justin standing up. He's surrounded by all these Illuminati guys. And he's thinking, and he's thinking, and he's thinking, and the movie ends. So it's an ambiguous ending that ambiguous ending that we don't know what he's gonna do. You see his face. He's thinking, should I join this frat? Because what they treated him to a point to insanity, maybe, or is he still sane in his head and he says fuck you? But the problem is, if he doesn't take it, maybe they will kill him because they don't want him. They, I think he has to take it if he still wants to live. That's the problem. If he doesn't take it, they will kill him because it's a secret society. So, okay, ending this movie on a positive note is the twists were interesting. You know, Ben being a basically sort of a spy pledge, then although it's weird that he had that opportunity because he had more uh, what do you, he had more chance to kill somebody in the back than by because they trust him, you know. um, and then of course the girl Rachel being there and saying run, and then the fact that they are the pledges, these fucked up lunatics, but and just have to kill one person. Um, I don't think it matters who, but they have to kill somebody, and then they get pledged, and then they get, you know. But again, um, I was I liked it. It was cool. It was cool. And it was cool that actually the fat guy, the one you least suspect, survives. Don't underestimate the fat guy. He takes the fucking knife and does that cool trick. I like that a lot. I like that Ricky came out of the vent with the head of David, the fucking asshole. But there wasn't any tension. You were rooting for one of these guys. I was rooting for both of these guys to win. I actually was really sad that Ethan died, but yeah. Well, for the rest of this movie, it's a cliche movie. We see, like I said, we've seen this kind of movies before. 2018, and they still can't. Okay, this was it 6 years ago? They still can't get a. And I'm certain that multiple of these sort of movies are made since then. Yeah, probably. So to end this on a good note, it has good twists. It has good acting in there. Got some good gore. Uh, the bad note is it Also, good note is that it's good pacing. A movie takes, it only lasts for an hour and 15 minutes, 17 minutes. So, um, Bat is the it's done before. It's done before. Uh, and I do not know what happened to Rachel. They don't explain that. So that's the only negative I have about this movie, but it's not. I don't like. I'm not a fan of these movies. I sometimes okay, it's good to put on, but so a five. No, because I thought it was gonna be a slasher, one guy slasher, with a mask or something. No, it's not. So that's why five. But five is still worth a watch. See you next time. Bye bye.